Hello, we are back. I'm so apologetic for being a little late. I always try to be on time, but life happens. I am actually serving as a poll worker during advanced voting here in Georgia, and it ran a little long today, but we are here, and I am so excited about tonight's conversation with Laura Waters Brown from PGA Tour. We have had so many laughs. We've had so many conversations, and it's finally time for her to come here on What's Next to talk to our audience, talk to our game changers about what we're doing. And let me get this one little thing out of the way. But thank you again. If you are new to What's Next on the Winning Edge, my name is Corinne Hey Nick, what's going on? I am the executive director and co-founder of the Winning Edge Leadership Academy, and we are here to develop the next generation of women and minority leaders in sports and entertainment. And we do this by being awesome. We do this by relying on the community, industry professionals like the young lady we have today, to make sure that decision makers in the industry that we love so much Nick, you got me all messed up here, of sports entertainment reflects what we're trying on. Hello, I am like so geeked, so hyped, ready for this conversation. What it do?
What's going on with you?
Listen, I'm over here. I was telling the people I was running a little late. I'm actually a poll worker for advanced voting here in Georgia, and we ran a little.
Yes, please. Yes.
So we ran a little late, and I was like sprinting over here, but we're here now. I'm so excited for this conversation. People don't even realize that we've shared so many laughs, conversations. I've taken you to my favorite French restaurant in Atlanta. You've met my dog, Drake.
Yes.
We've talked about dogs. This is about that life. And you finally have made it. I'm like, you see how hype I can't even stand still. That's how hype
I'm ready.
I am.
If you hear some laughing in the background, that's my dog. He just got home from school, so he's eating it up.
What kind of school? What kind of school?
Daycare. Yes, I send my dog to daycare. I have to send him to daycare because
Are you working from home?
I am. Yeah, we've been working from home since March 14th, I think.
And you send your dog to get daycare?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's all we got to say.
It's not my fault, you know what I'm saying? He is the type of dog that is very demanding, and he will walk past the door and stand there until I get up. And then if I open the door, he will run to the car and stand there and look at me.
This is before. I don't think I've ever done this, but I'll show my dog. This is how my dog sits the whole time I'm on Instagram Live all the time.
Come here, Z. Come here.
So he's.
This is easy.
He ain't gonna come. Come here. He ain't gonna come.
Hold on. This is my boy. Say hi. Can you say? Don't show him your butt. Show your face. Say hi. Easy. Somebody decided to try and hide a bone in the sheets the other day, hence the little nose boo-boo, but What do we do?
I love it.
All the things we do for the ones we love.
I know. Listen, I don't think I've ever showed my dog on Instagram Live. So the fact that I did that for you today is very...
I feel special.
You should. Because, Black women with dogs is not like the thing, right? Like,
is that not a thing?
I feel like every time I walk with Drake by a Black woman, she's like, oh no, not dogs.
I get that a lot from some of my neighbors, but we practice the rule of we're not moving. So we're on the sidewalk, and we're not moving. We're not moving. And sometimes, I'll let the leash go just a little bit more so you have a little more space so they can know, like, I have the situation under control.
I'm about to blow your mind. I don't even have a leash.
That might be why they're looking at you.
Well, the good thing is Drake will stay on the sidewalk. He's not even Only for people he knows. But girl, we're not doing this. We're
Sorry,
here.
all the dogs.
This is why people don't like dog people, because we talk about our dogs too much.
We talk about dogs all the time.
Yes. So National Sports Forum is here. You see that? So now we gotta represent.
I do. This is my first live like situation. I was real nervous. I have like 3 different devices here just in case one breaks down. I got like different options in case.
Are you standing?
I'm sitting. So I'm like 5'7" and 3/4 of an inch, but I'm like 82% legs. So I need the extra high chairs. So I sit on my extra high chair on my table.
Well, I stand because sitting makes me look like I'm lazy. Anyway, so we're here with Laura Waters Brown. I'm so excited. I start every conversation, regardless if it's on what's next or I'm doing a panel for somebody famous or whatever, with the same question. Who are you? What do you do? And why?
Man, it's a loaded question.
No, listen.
It's a loaded question. Who am I? What do I do? And what was the third one?
Why? That's the easy
Why
one.
do I do it? Okay. So I'm Laura Waters Brown. That is a hyphenated last name. Waters -Brown, one word. It is my last name. It is on my birth certificate. One name. That's me. Proud HBCU alum. As you can see here, I got my HBCU shirt on. Proud HBCU alum, South Carolina State University. Former college athlete. I would call myself.
What's your sport?
Volleyball.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, volleyball in college, but you know what I'm saying? I grew up, basketball was the first sport I ever played. So I've had a basketball in my hand since I was 4. Conveniently, my father was a coach. So while other kids were getting Christmas gifts and PlayStations and things like that, I was getting gift certificates to coach Tony Brown's camp. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Because he also decided to teach at my high school by the time I got there. So, you know, that's how that goes. But no, played sports my whole life. Soccer, softball. I did soccer for 14 years, but I didn't start volleyball seriously until I got to high school. Got recruited to go to South Carolina State to play volleyball.
Bulldogs?
Which is a whole story in itself. Yes, SC State Bulldogs.
I didn't think I was going to know that. You didn't think I was going to know
Most people don't. Most people will say, oh, let's go, what Gamecocks? And I'm like, no, that's not it. We're in Orangeburg.
Buddy Pugh, that's my guy.
Buddy Pugh will always be the coach, football there, forever, no matter what. Buddy Pugh used to ride his golf cart up and down the sidelines. Like he would be at practice with on one side, and then he would need to yell at the guys on the other end, and he would hop on his cart and skirt on down. And that's where he would do that.
This conversation is gonna be too fun. So what do you do and why do you do it?
Yeah, so I work at the PGA Tour. That is golf. I am currently a marketing manager there. My background is in digital, social media. So once upon a time, people will not believe this, but once upon a time, Instagram did not exist.
What?
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Once upon a time, Facebook just started and Twitter was new and there was no animations whatsoever or lives or video, anything like that. So I've been with social media since then. So my background is digital and social, work at PGA Tour, marketing manager. My job now is to help the PGA Tour with market nationally our community equity and inclusion initiatives, as well as helping market our industry collaborations in the areas of DE&I, as well as the APGA Tour, which is the Advocates Professional Golf Association Tour, which a lot of people don't know about. So that's what I do. And I do it because why not? Why not? Like I love digital. I love social. I love marketing. I love new challenges. So it's very rare for me to see a great opportunity and great work for great people and say no. So That's what I'm here for.
Listen, first of all, I want to acknowledge Mary Mullins just joined the IG Live. And the only reason we are even doing these IG Lives is because she sent me a text and said, these are great. You guys should keep doing them. And I told her when I saw her in person the following week that I don't want to do them. But she was like, no, it's really good. You should really keep up with them. So we're here now. So Mary,
Yes.
this is for you.
Thank you, Mary. Isn't it always the ideas where you're like, no, I don't want to do that. And then somebody else in the ear is like, you should probably do that. Those be the best ones. That's why you gotta have good people in your corner.
Mary been with us since day one. So Lord, you are over here. Look at all that. You so are with the so much love. I love it. You've been with the PGA Tour for how long?
Ooh, it'll be 5 years in April.
5 years. I've been playing golf since I was 7.
Yes, you have. You're like way good. I'm not.
My mom came to this country and heard business deals were done on the golf course.
Facts.
So guess what her only child was doing? Playing golf.
Playing golf. Mm-hmm. I get that. Mm-hmm.
So I played on my high school team. I played in every place, every city I've played. I've tried to play at the best course. When I was in Germany, I played over in Europe. I've had the opportunity to play with, some legendary people, and I'm so thankful. And I always try to, even now with our Game Changer Retreat, we have an introduction to golf lesson. It's one of those sports that I think, especially as people of color, we don't think about. We don't think like, hey, this is for me. And I say, like, if you just get to the driving range, if you can get your boss or your colleagues, because that's where they're going anyway. If you can hang with them, and now that I'm over 21, for the most part, I'm just drinking.
Who does that? What is that?
Right. So I'm just on the cart making sure to get the other person as unsober as possible so I can beat them.
Well, and that's part of that. That's part of the myth that we're doing, that we're trying to bust here at the PGA Tour, right? This is no longer your grandpa's sport. Like you got music out there. I was playing at, and by playing I mean I was riding in the cart at Sawgrass a couple weeks ago, and they now have the Bluetooth speakers in the golf carts. So they're like, link up and play your music. So it's not the quiet sport that it once was. It's definitely becoming way more inclusive. Local muni courses, people can play. You got the first tee, you got different groups around the city, around the country, who are getting more and more kids to play golf. You've got all the different tours. I mean, if you ask, if there is one way that you as an entry-level person could ever get the CEO of a company for 4 hours, one-on-one time, that's on the golf course. That is on the golf course. And that is why you join golf. Not only is it fun, I did play for a little bit. When Tiger hit the scene and he released the book, How to Become a Tiger.
I have a book.
My father read the book. He tried to make me a tiger. But it was not for me because I had to carry my own bag, and it was in Ohio. Yeah. And it snows like 8 months out of the year. So outdoor sports wasn't really, my jam. But I'm gonna get back into it at some point in time. I told myself this would be the year that I would do it. So I've been to the golf course twice.
Listen, the next time you come to Atlanta, I feel like you got the creds. We can go to East Lake.
Look, I tried that one time and I don't.
Okay.
I don't have to.
Noted. All right.
No.
So,
but we can hit up a Top Golf. I got you at Top Golf because I'm
not doing Top Golf with you. I'm not.
I can do it.
So, you've been with PGA Tour for 5 years.
Yeah.
What were you doing before that? How did you end up at PGA Tour? I think that's always what's always interesting for me is, especially our game changers who are watching now or who are going to be watching later, when they don't think about PGA Tour as an option and they start somewhere else, but then they end up in an industry or a field that they may not think of. But you didn't start here. So where were you before you were at PGA? And tell us, like, okay, these experiences helped me get here.
Yeah. So it's funny. I, too, never had a thought that I would work at the PGA Tour. it wasn't on my radar. I actually didn't even know I could work in sports when I was in college as a student athlete. I didn't put two and two together that, hey, I could actually do this for a career. I thought I was going to be doomed for life because I was a business marketing major and I couldn't stay in all of my business classes. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to live life, you know, and see what happens. And my mother was like, that's what's not going to happen. And so I actually got an internship at the Ohio State University in the athletic department, where I did fan experience and promotions for some of our Olympic sports or some of their Olympic sports. Had some great mentors, had some great just direction while I was there. And the AD, he's still there now, Mr. Gene Smith, actually told me, he was like, so what are you doing after your internship is over? And I was like, I don't know, still going to be interning next year. I mean, y'all pay me big bucks, right? And he was like, wrong answer, you're going back to school. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. That's not, I'm working, mind you, I was working like 6 jobs at the time. So he was like, you're going back to 6. One time, 6 paychecks. Because again, my internship, right, 6 jobs. So he was like, you're going back to school. And I was like, no, I'm not. And I made every excuse possible instead of every single barrier. Like, I'm only going to apply to one school. And if I don't get in, I'm not going. That's a sign from God. God is telling me I'm not supposed to be at grad school. And so I ended up getting into Ohio University, which happens to be one of the best sports ad graduate programs in the world now, I believe. We're still number 1 or 2. I think number 1. If you ask a Bobcat, we're always number 1. Went there for 2 years. For me, it was an efficiency situation, right? Like, I'm going for 2 years, and I'm coming out with 2 master's degrees. 1 program, 2 years, 2 master's degrees. I don't really want to use either one of them, but heck, Gene Smith said I didn't have a job anymore, so I had to go. Ended up at OU, where I went through the program and hit all types of the traditional roles and traditional opportunities, and was really getting discouraged because I didn't want to do any of it. I didn't want to do sponsorship. I had already worked in college, so I knew I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do ticket sales. Definitely didn't want to do that. I didn't want to
don't stress that too much. We're trying to get our community to understand revenue generating roles and how they
it comes full circle. It comes full circle. So in grad school though, you do different opportunities, whether you want to do it or not. So you do all of the rev gen classes, you learn all of the things, you learn the importance. And so as I was going through the program, I realized that my initial thought of what ticket sales and sponsorship was on day 1 was not it when I left, right? So when I left in my last semester, we got an opportunity to take an elective course called content. Again, this is before Instagram. Instagram was not a thing. Facebook had just started. And so I got to join this content class, and a light went off. The whole premise was content was king. This is the internet, the digital, all of these things, yada, yada, yada. And it took off from there. I got an internship with an alum out in Chicago, where my whole job was to come up with ideas. That's it. Come up with ideas. From there, I got my next job at the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what in the world convinced Kevin Griffin to put me in charge of the social media for a professional NFL team, but
that's fine.
Did. Look, when somebody gives you an opportunity, whether you think you are ready or not, step into it. Because I did what a pick 6. Nope. Didn't know what it was. Didn't know who was on the team. Didn't know anything about it. Got the opportunity, and so many doors just opened up for me because I got to be part of a brand launch. People get so stuck up on working for the big teams, the Cowboys, for the
America's
Chicago
team.
Bulls. No comment. All the big teams, right? And the big leagues and the big names and the big brands. But what you don't realize is the experience you're going to get working at a lesser known or a smaller league, whether it's minor league baseball, whether it's the AHL, whether it's a development league. you're going to get the experience to put on your own program. You're going to get the experience, for me, to create and develop a digital brand in a space that now we know everybody's trying to get in digital. And I've been in it now for almost 8 years. And I can say I've done digital ads. So the knowledge I took from learning the sponsorship stuff, the traditional track wasn't for me, but the understanding of it helped me to create revenue generating opportunities in digital. And so now that's my stamp. That's my thing, is generating revenue on the interwebs, which is what all the teams and all the organizations are doing. And there's not a lot of us there. So the Browns gave me a lot of opportunities, although we may not have, won a lot of games. Doesn't matter. Look, this is what people say. You work for a winning team or a losing team, the check still comes every 2 weeks. And if you can make a non-winning team a successful brand, you're building your skill set. So I from there, I got a call from one of my OU classmates who was like, there's a position here at the PGA Tour. And I'm like, the who? He's like, the PGA Tour, the Players Championship, which is their flagship event. And I was like, I have no clue what that is. I don't know where Ponte Vedra is.
Not Ponte Vedra.
That's what the GPS calls it. She calls it Ponte Vedra. And I was like, I have no clue where this is. But again, it's trusting the people that are around you. And I was like, sure, why not? I'll come down for an interview in Florida. It was snowing in March at that time. So why not? Came down here. I was like, this is a great opportunity. I know nothing about golf. Again, an opportunity to learn and do something and expand my horizon. And it was in Florida. So I got here, took over the social and digital for the Players Championship, did a lot of cool things. Again, generated revenue. And because it was from the outside looking in, a smaller team or organization, I was able to develop specific relationships with Facebook, with Ticketmaster directly, and put my name and stamp on new things and new technologies that people are now like, oh yeah, you just do this. I'm like, yeah, I know what you do because I developed it. So I know what I'm talking about here. So after the Players, I moved over to work with all of our tournaments in a stretch position, data analytics. So if anybody who knows me knows, that's not me. Me and Excel, not it. I barely passed accounting in undergrad.
Don't do it.
Barely. But I in me looking at all of my skills that I had at that point in time, in order for me to take over the world over a marketing department at some point in time, I've got to understand the data and I've got to understand the back end technology and things like that. And so I took that job and stressed myself out a lot, but I learned a lot. And again, got a lot of experience. And now we did some reorganizing at the tour. And so I was moved over into a traditional marketing role to bring my digital, to bring my passion, which is going against the grain in every single way possible, to help the PGA Tour grow and diversify this game in the sport.
So there's something you said, two things you said that I love, but the first thing is,
number one,
going to the organizations that are big. I am a proud alumni of Bemidji State University in Minnesota.
Hi.
And I always preach, I think so often people want to work at a Power 5 school. I want to work at Tennessee. I want to work at, Duke. And it's like, you are sitting at a desk doing one thing. When I was at Bemidji State, I was a student assistant with media relations, which is my start. I was a student assistant coach for women's basketball. I was game operations. I got a chance to wear so many hats and learn so many things. So when I got to ESPN, I had the experience. I had that background to influence so many different aspects of my job. And not just like, oh, I think this is what it is. But no, I know this is what it is because I had that experience. And one thing that I super love, that if I had like all the emojis I would put, is trust those people who are in your network, in your tribe. You talked about somebody suggesting PGA Tour, and we talk to our game changers all the time. You're talking about a first generation American from Miami living in Atlanta going to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right? Like
there's no there.
There's snow all the time, the second coldest city in America.
Yeah, it's chilly.
So, but I trust someone in my circle to say, hey, come up here,
Exactly.
learn, do these things. And I think so often we see young people, they look at that Instagram. I want to be able to post the
Yeah.
views on the yacht. I want to do these super fancy things. I don't want to do the things that are going to be too hard or people
Right.
aren't going to super like. And I think it's important to understand that it's okay to go off the beaten path, especially as a person of color. We
Mm-hmm.
tend to, and I don't even want to say we tend to, because a lot of times it's just knowing.
Right.
But we stick to what we know or
Yep.
to what we're comfortable with. We're comfortable with football. We're comfortable with basketball, maybe baseball. But I'm like, when I was in Bemidji, I was interviewing toothless hockey players and creating the first YouTube channel for them, right? And
Yes.
never had ever, we had the Atlanta Thrashers for a hot second here in Atlanta, but I'd never been to a hockey tournament or a hockey game. And now
Yeah.
I'm surrounded around future Olympians and riding the Zamboni, right? And I'm so thankful for that. And I'm able to now relate to another demographic of people that if you look at me, it's not, most people would think like, oh, she got the twist. She's looked like this. She don't know about hockey. I'm like, no, I know about hockey.
I know.
I know about I know
about
curling.
I know something.
We got the International Curling Center in Bemidji. Listen, this is real.
Hey,
so I love that you talk about trusting your tribe and not always striving for those big names, putting yourself in a position to learn and really putting us, like the fact that you talk about putting your name, stamping your name to something. And from Bemidji, I went to Tennessee and I was a graduate assistant and I was doing what I did well, but I was doing the one thing, right? I wasn't able to do a lot of things. So I love that you talk about that. Let's talk about tomorrow. You know, we have Jalen coming on. She's a former intern with PGA Tour. And so I really want to, like, I've already said it, but I really want you. I see you like pushing back the curls. So hopefully a lot of people feel that they see themselves in you, right?
Yes.
It's very important for me to understand, to provide representation. Why is something like PGA Tour, those lacrosse, that American like stuff that people aren't seeing all the time, making big news? Why is it important to take a chance on yourself and believe in yourself that, hey, I can go in here and do the dang thing?
Yeah. I mean, to be like, my journey to being comfortable with this took 30 years. Like 30 years. 30 years. So it's only been recently did I really say, I'm going to be me and you're going to get all of me, whether you like it or not. And it's something to say, especially in golf, right? But I see my boy Dougie Fresh has joined PGA professional golf aficionado, new dad. And he's in this sport. What I have found is that we are here. We are here in golf. We're just spread out. That's it. We play golf. We're just not necessarily a traditional PGA Tour fan because of the tour's history. But much like how we have done, how brown people have done over centuries and years and since the beginning of time, is we gonna get in where we fit in. Like, if you don't want us, that's fine. We gonna go over here and create the same thing, might be better, and you gonna come over here and see what we doing, because for whatever reason over here is working. And so you gotta be first comfortable with yourself. But the one thing that I do when I reflected, and they tell you something, when you hit 30, something happens. I don't know if like wisdom just takes over your brain. I know your knees start going out for sure.
Yeah.
But something hit me as I was reflecting on, my journey. It was like, I didn't see a lot of me in sports. I saw, Black men, but I never saw me. And if I'm given a platform, I'm going to be all of me. I'm gonna shake this out. If I'm gonna talk to somebody, if I'm gonna be, especially, if it's gonna be on video, I'm shaking all of this out. I'm gonna wear bright colors, and I'm gonna wear something that makes you see you in me, because if we don't even know it's an option, how are we going to change the industry? How are we going to change sport? How are we going to grow and keep just being dope if we don't know that that's an option? And so if I can do anything to, again, I'm real comfortable in pushing the norm, and everybody that knows me know if there is a line,
you towing it.
Look, I might be right here. I won't go over it, but I might be right here. Because who's to say that me wearing Rothy's on a Tuesday is not professional? The work's the same.
Not Rothy's.
In my mind, I've had situations where, a VP came up to me on like a Thursday. It's jeans Friday. So I'm wearing jeans on Thursday because I ain't got no meetings. I'm sitting in a cube all day. I'm wearing jeans. He's like, are you wearing jeans? Yes. Huh. I'm like, yeah, so we're headed to the same meeting, right? You ready to go? Because in my mind, I'm like, do you want this work? Or do you need me to drive home to change my jeans to come back to do, like, so I think the industry is changing. Sports is changing, especially with this pandemic and people realizing like, oh dear geez, I don't have to. You can work from home. You can work remotely. You can work across the world. Like, that's awesome. So ignore Michael. Ignore him. Don't ignore him. Ignore him all the way. But if I can be an example, then I'm gonna do it. And if that means making other people who are used to doing things the same way that they've done them for however long they've done it, and it makes them a little uncomfortable, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it, because somebody else is gonna come up and be like, okay, so I can wear my bet. And it's efficient. It shaves off like a good 30 minutes in the morning, so I can get here earlier.
I don't know. I don't want to throw shade at my other conversations, but this may be my favorite conversation so far. But I want to make sure we stay on time, because that's something I'm terrible at. But what is it that you're saying to the next generation as they're thinking about, especially we're in a pandemic, but companies have had to make, these public commitments to diversity. NSF has BDSC and has the most viewed or most attended webinar is on diversity and inclusion. Every team or every college now is having a diversity and inclusions person on staff. Like, this is a thing, but it's still not a thing, right? So what are we saying to the next generation of people that look like us as they begin their journey? What are we saying to them right now?
Don't get caught up in statements. Get caught up in action. I was in another session with some OU students, and I totally forgot I said this because I got on one of my tangents, and they quoted me in a thank you note, and then I was like, oh gosh, is this recorded? But I was like, it's okay, whatever. But I told them, I was like, for me, companies, you can miss me with your words. Miss me with your words. Like, let me see the action, and then tell me all the great things that you did, because I don't need words. Words. They're words, right? So
I got to do the Birdman on this, because that's
right, like words. Because think about it. When you're a kid, what do they say? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So why would they help you? Like, do the work. So come in. So to the next generation, come in. The same thing still applies when we were coming in. I don't know who the great person who said this was, but in my mind, I've been watching Scandal. So it's going to be Papa Pope in my mind that said this. He was like, you have to work twice as hard to be half as good. That is still
Papa
a thing.
Pope.
He was crazy, but he came with the words in that one scene with the plane. He was a thing. But that still rings true. And I was speaking with I think one of my colleagues or mentor or something the other day, and they were talking about, you know, if you do the work and you prepare yourself, you are going to be ready when the opportunity comes. Read the books, challenge yourself, take the free online courses. I learned to do my job on YouTube.
You can literally learn how to build a BOMB on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
you can do all the things on YouTube. I learned all the things on the YouTube. Right. So like I'm literally, I remember it to this day. They were like at the Browns, our web developer had quit in the middle of the season. And it was me and intern Rudy. And the ticket team was like, we need a new website. And I was like,
not a new website.
Like a whole new section? It's like a new section within, like, yeah, and we want this to fly in, and we want this to do this, and we want this to pop. And I'm sitting here like, y'all know I don't do that, right? Like, you know the web developer, she just quit. Like, you saw that, right? So what? But it had to get done. And I saw it as an opportunity. So me and the late night cleaning staff got really tight. And I was in the office till 1 o'clock in the morning with YouTube on one screen and the blank website content management system on the other page. And I was literally Googling, how do I bold text?
You got to do the thing and then this and then bold. And then...
Yep. And now I know caret, thing, strong, caret, bracket, all of that. And I learned all of that on the YouTube. Photoshop, how do you add a drop shadow? No clue. How do you add a vector mask? What's a vector? I don't know. YouTube. But I learned how to do my job because I knew it had to get done. And if it had to get done and they find out I had no clue how to do it, but it's still legit, like, how you gonna sit there and tell me I'm not dope?
Listen. I tell people all the time, if an organization can hire one person that can do 7 things versus 7 people who could do 1 thing, you have the advantage. Become multi-dimensional. Yes. You don't have to be an expert in all the things.
No.
Just know how to get it done. Know how to get it done. Like I would say I'm proficient in Adobe. I know Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all these things, but it's not something I do every day. But if somebody called me up, it was like, hey, Corinne, I got a $15,000 check for you to do. I'm like, whoop, I know how to do this.
I'm going to figure that out. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm going to figure it out. And people, you said that, like, I think young people get so focused on being so siloed. I am a marketing major. I am an econ major. I am going to do all of the things in econ. Minor in marketing, minor in creative design. Learn how to code. Dear Jesus, if you don't know it, learn how to code. Learn how to code. If you can code, you're going to build the foundations on everything else. Whether it's email marketing, whether it's understanding, like, oh, your website is flickering. I bet that's something in the HTML. Let me just slide this little Google thing over right quick, check it out, and I can show you. And now all of a sudden, all the people in the room are like, oh, why did you leave this project? I don't know what you said. I don't know what that means, but you go do it. So I think the best class I ever took was an improv class in high school. I took an improv class, and I learned in that improv class how to handle myself in front of people. I had at the time I was like, it's an easy A. Sorry, Miss Maciosi, if you watch this, my bad. I love you, but it was easy A. And at the time, I didn't realize the lessons that I was learning in this improv class. This improv class taught me how to recognize when I'm getting nervous and how to counteract it. It taught me how to, if you lose your thought, how you get it back. It taught me about pausing. So when I'm doing interviews, you ask me a question, I have no clue what the answer is, but you know what? I'm a dance around it so I figure it out.
Yes.
At some point in there, the answer will be there. It might take me 5 minutes to get there, but darn it, I'm gonna get there. So but that was not a traditional course.
No, I think I'm about to one-up you a little bit. I competed in extemporaneous speaking.
I'm sorry, who spell it? Spell it. Ex who? Ex who?
Extemporaneous speaking, which is
Is that a cousin to
essentially
a dinosaur? What is an extemporaneous?
essentially it is improv, but on a professional level.
Oh, well, excuse me.
So
Excuse me.
I love that. I literally love that you talk about improv because the like Rotary Club, find it in your location, like do it. Toastmasters.
Yes.
Every city has one. Find a way. It's not just if you want to be a public speaker. It's literally helping you conduct yourself in your everyday work. People think I'm like the best person to do video interviews, and I literally hate it. But I don't say the right? Because I dance around the thing. I dance around until I find the answer.
Take a breath.
And so they've been impressed. And I think a lot of times they're impressed that somebody that looks like me can do what I do. And we
oh, you speak so well.
And so I think we can't shy away from that. Sometimes I embrace that. Like if I know I'm going to go into a room and I'm able to talk about my experiences as a first generation American, as a veteran, as a graduate assistant for Pet Summit, as somebody who worked for ESPN, I already know I'm blowing people's minds, right?
You do what? All that? When did you do that? Aren't you?
When? How? How, Sway?
How, Sway? Tell me.
But I think we sometimes shy away from those things. We don't want to stand out. We don't, and it's like, please
stand out.
Yeah, stand out.
Look. You see me in the red. If you see me
at
work, this is me at work. Like I want you to recognize me when I walk in a room. You will recognize me and the way I carry myself, followed by the way that I speak, followed by the content that's going to come out my mouth. You will not only recognize me, you will now respect me, and you will give me another seat at the table. And then you're going to give somebody else a seat at the table when I tell you they're legit. Like that's how it's going to work. That's how it's going to work. Because you got it. That's how you're going to, I'm
so we might have to do a part 2 to this conversation, but I want to make sure our usual viewers, we stay on time. What is it you're telling Laura when she's stepping on campus for the first time as a freshman?
Stepping on campus or off campus? Like I hate it. I'm out.
On campus.
On campus.
Prepare, knowing what you want to do, knowing what it's going to take, knowing all these things. How are you having that conversation with Laura as she's getting ready to embrace her college experience and take the next step?
I would say the first thing I would tell young Laura, young grasshopper, I would say the alphas ain't it. That's what I would tell myself. No, but real life. That's why, they were real fine. But I would tell myself the alphas ain't it. But following up to that statement, I would say...
Wait, time out. Since we already side to the sidetrack, the fact that Steve is our day one dude and he put so many O's after his no.
Yeah, sorry. I would say because here's the thing. So when I came on my official visit for South Carolina State University, the alphas were like on the yard. And I came from a predominantly white city growing up in a predominantly white high school. So I had never seen all of that. And I was like, what is this? And they were just out. I'll never forget it. They were out on the yard at the plaza, sitting on air, because every plaza's got like that concrete, whatever that is, sitting on the out and it was hot. It was mid to hot, but all got their jackets on. Like I know you sweating up underneath that, bro.
No.
Like I know you are. Yeah. And I'm walking through my little 18-year-old self, walk with my mama and my 6-foot-something tall coach, and I'm just like, I could go here. Yeah, I could go here. So I would tell myself that's number one. Say the alphas ain't it. Love my Greek brothers, but but then after that, I would say, man, what would I I tell myself? I would honestly, I would say you can do, like, you're enough. I think is what I would tell myself. You're enough. And I would say, I would definitely say get your shoulder surgery after freshman year. Get that done. No plan. That's the other thing I'd tell myself. World, I feel like it was really unique. Oh, I would say go check with the academic advisor and make sure your science credits are the correct classes so that when you graduate, you can actually have a minor instead of just having 18 random hours of sciences. That's probably what I would tell myself. I think I got really lucky. I'm really fortunate and really blessed. I come from a family of strong women. And so I didn't know there was a glass ceiling until it was a topic of discussion in one of my business classes. They were like, and the women typically tend to get paid $55 million less than the average man, and yada, yada, yada. And they top out at yada, yada, yada. And I'm in the class like, excuse me? Huh? Really? Because where I come from, all the women, grown women that I know, misses, because you got to have the misses in there, are senators, attorney generals, judges, doctors, CEOs. So what, like, help me understand that. So perception is everything, and your circle is everything, right? So I think the biggest thing I think I would tell myself is to stay away from the office. That's number one.
Okay, we'll go with that. I feel like there's a part two to this, but I appreciate your time, your energy, your wisdom, everything you've dropped today, all the knowledge, all the viewers, whether you're watching now or later. We appreciate you. Yeah, I'm glad it was fun. And make sure, are you going to be on tomorrow with Jalen?
Oh, yeah, most certainly. It's on my calendar.
Perfect. We want to make sure that our leaders, our game changers understand PGA Tour is an option for them to enter into the space. It's a real option. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. We will see you soon. I'm sure I will see you soon. The next time you're in Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take you to a different favorite restaurant. I think it's gonna be Indian. So
I support Indian. If you got a dope butter chicken recipe, holla at your girl, because I'm looking for it. I need it in my life. This has been so fun and so awesome, and I am open and willing to slide anyone's resume on the hiring manager's desk at the PGA Tour. I don't care who it is, whose department it is. They would be my new best friend. So please, if anyone's watching, the PGA Tour is a great internship program. Happy Narissa, who we're gonna get on here one of these days, Narissa Robinson, is in charge of that program. So we're all connected. We're all connected, and we're gonna change. Closed mouths don't get fed. You miss 100% of the shots you take. All of the euphemisms, all of the sayings are true. Ask questions. They will tell you there are no dumb questions. There are some that are smarter than others, but ask questions. You don't know what you don't know.
I love it. Well, we appreciate you. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Yeah, is it still Wednesday? I don't even know what day it is.
Wednesday.
All right, great.
I'll see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was Lower Water Browse. We had way too much fun. I want to thank Steve for coming in. Markeisha, we appreciate you coming in. Courtney, represent the advisory committee. We always appreciate people coming in. Every Wednesday, we try to have these conversations to prepare the next generation, get you guys to understand there are more opportunities out there in sports entertainment. And like Laura, there are people out there that want to see you succeed. Please reach out. Please connect. Please understand we are here to help you. If you don't already subscribe to our email newsletter, please visit our website, www.wegamechange.org. Subscribe. We have a schedule, wegamechange.org/schedule. Check us out. Follow us on all the platforms at The We Leadership. Hit us up anytime. We are here to make sure that decision makers reflect the fans and the players. Thank you all again. We'll be back here next Wednesday with another dope guest, as Courtney said. Thank you.